Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. I'm down in Columbus, Ohio at the Columbus Zoo, ready for an awesome animal adventure. You're watching SnakeBytes. So you guys know that I'm a snake guy, but the truth is I always tell people that I'm more of an animal guy. I love all animals. So I'm heading down to the Columbus Zoo to meet up with some friends and just play with some really outrageously cool animals. I have a feeling we're gonna start with baby cheetahs. In the early 1900s, it was estimated that there was approximately 100,000 cheetahs in the wild. What is the current estimate for wild populations? A, 30 to 40,000, B, 15 to 25,000, or C, 9 to 12,000. Go ahead and answer in the comments down below and check back later in the show to see if you've got the right answer. For this week's Reptile Report, we're going to be highlighting Repashy forums. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click on the link in the description. So I'm down here in Columbus and I gotta tell you, I'm playing with some of the coolest little animals in the world. They happen to be little baby cheetahs. These guys are about 2.5 months old, and I'll tell you guys, my favorite of the cat family. Now these happen to be the smallest of the large cat animals, and what makes them really interesting is that they're the largest cat that can still purr. And there's a few really interesting facts about them. They actually have claws that don't retract, and they're little feisty little guys. Again, these guys are only 2.5 months old, and they have a really interesting bond. They typically will stay together for at least 12 to 14 months before heading off on their own. And as you can see, they certainly do like to play. Now, cheetahs are typically pretty skittish animals, and actually in captivity, they weren't really bred too often, but now they're doing something really interesting. And that's with raising them with little dogs, typically little labs. And for whatever reason, those dogs make them feel a little bit more safe. And you can see that they're not nearly as skittish as normal. But these guys are actually pretty endangered. Believe it or not, there's only about 10,000 animals left in the wild, which is really scary. But the more important thing is the fact that their gene pool is very concentrated, and the inbreeding with these animals can really be an issue even in the wild. So it's so important for conservation to keep these guys around for a long time. Now, everyone's always heard about cheetahs and their dots. Believe it or not, there's a mutation out there that's called a king cheetah. So instead of having the little dots on them, they have big black stripes on them. And just like my snake mutation, it's a recessive mutation. And again, that goes back to a lot of the inbreeding. Although the king cheetahs are still really rare animals. Well, look at how adorable this little guy is. Now, cheetahs typically climb up to the highest point to go to the bathroom, so the fact that they climb on me a little bit might be a little bit of an issue. But I tell you what, if the worst thing that happens today is I get pooped on by a cheetah, I'll feel pretty lucky. Oh my God. He is so cute. Their tongues are so rough, like little sandpaper. It's so cute. Now, cheetahs are built for speed. These guys are the fastest land animal. Believe it or not, they can run 70 to 75 miles an hour. They can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And their lung capacity is built just for that speed. Believe it or not, the respiration starts at 60 breaths per minute and goes up to 150 during a fast run. Now, they're only going to keep it up for about a half a mile, and then they run out of energy. But even their tails are built for speed. Instead of being completely circular, they're more oval, so they can use them as a rudder. Tell you what, this animal has totally adapted for speed, as you can see. Now, little leopards all look relatively similar, but one of the really trademarks of cheetahs is, of course, that little teardrop. All cheetahs will have that even as babies. And of course, they're going to eventually get close to 100 pounds and turn into their normal adult colors. But I tell you what, I love them at this size. It's one of the coolest of the big cats, no doubt about it. All right, so I have another cute little guy here. These are actually binturongs, or bear cats. Now these guys are from Southeast Asia, and they obviously live up in the trees, and they're really good climbers with this huge prehensile tail. They can get about 70 pounds. And the thing that most people know about binturongs, believe it or not, is they smell like popcorn. I have no idea why Mother Nature would make an animal smell like popcorn, but every time I'm around a bear cat, they all smell like it. Even a little guy like this, all the way to a big adult. But I tell you what, they are just absolutely adorable at this size. But certainly when they get big, they're a handful to deal with. I think I'll just stick with playing with these little guys like this. Well, it's certainly not every day that you can just chill out and hang out with the penguin, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. This happens to be a black-footed penguin, or a jackass penguin. These guys are from South Africa, and believe it or not, there's 17 species of penguin, and only 5 of them prefer cold climate, which most people think of penguins, they think of cold weather. These guys actually prefer 65 degrees or warmer, believe it or not. They have the most feathers per square inch of any bird animal. And what's interesting too is a couple things about their eyes. First off, they have 2 eyelids, of course, to help them in the water, but more importantly, have you ever noticed when a penguin swims, it kind of does it diagonally and swims through? It's because of the way their vision is. They can't see straight ahead, so they have to swim this way and that way to see what's ahead of them. Now these guys a lot of times have a little bit of cantankerous attitude, but as you can see, my buddy right here, he's just a really cool animal. Penguins happen to be one of my favorite animals, but of course, I think I say that about every animal I handle. As much as I thought I knew about penguins, believe it or not, I learned something just today about them. And that's the fact that you can identify an individual animal by the little speckles on their belly. It's kind of like a fingerprint. No 2 penguins will have the exact same pattern. I tell you, there's nothing like the experience of cuddling with a penguin. All right, so I'm here with Sean from the Columbus Zoo. He's the guy that basically invited us down to show us all these amazing animals. Sean, first off, tell me a little bit about what you're doing here and your position at the zoo.
Yeah, well, here's the cool part is that we raise a lot of different animals for zoos all around the country. So smaller zoos and even bigger zoos will contact us, ask to hand raise some of their babies, such as who we're looking here, Nitro, who's one of the male snow leopards that we're raising. We'll raise them here and use them in an education program. Take these animals out amongst the public, talk to them about them. A lot of conservation messages, especially even with snow leopards. But we'll talk about conservation and just get people sort of interested back in animals and learn about a lot of the conservation stories that we have with some of these animals that most people won't even ever get to see.
So basically you guys are getting mainly baby animals, you're rearing them up for a period of time, using them in outreach, and then they get rehomed to a different facility?
Yeah, so a lot of the animals that we work with are on some type of breeding program. So in the zoo world, we have what we call an SSP, so it's a species survival plan, and that's where the snow leopards fit in. So this male is actually already paired up with his mate who is Ice, who's the female that we raised them from a very young age now, but they're destined to remain together. Genetically, they're a perfect match for each other.
So tell me a little bit about this amazing animal here.
I think snow leopards are probably one of the most special animals that we work with. I mean, if you look at this cat, when they come in and they're so small, and as they get older, that, you know, this is probably, he's probably almost around 6 months, right, in that age.
Wow.
You know, not full grown. This is a cat that's going to be anywhere between 100 and 120 pounds.
Really?
But here's the cool part. This is probably one of our top 3 most endangered cats in the world today. Found primarily up in the mountains of the Himalayas. And up until the last Planet Earth DVD, we really didn't have very many footage of these guys in the wild. And so they actually will hunt larger hoofstock Markhor goats, other type of goats that you'd find up in those mountains.
I tell you what, the thing that impresses me are 2 things, this huge tail and those amazingly big paws. So what do they use those for?
Well, here's the thing. So this is a mountain cat. This is a cat that's going to primarily be up in the ice and cold and snow. So those paws are always going to be big no matter what size this cat is. Those pads also, if you look at it, have actually the hair underneath the pads too. Right. So when they're up in that snowy climate, they're not dealing with frostbite. The tail is like a scarf. And so these guys actually will use those tails to sort of drape across their face when they're laying up in those mountains as a scarf idea.
Well, I tell you what, this has been an amazing experience. I can't wait to see what else we're going to see. Thanks, Sean. I tell you what, this is certainly an unbelievable treat. This is actually a Muir leopard. It's one of the most critically endangered animals on the planet. Believe it or not, there are only about 40 animals left in the wild. So to have the opportunity to hold one of these and just play with it a little bit is just truly amazing. Now these guys come from northern China or southern Russia, and they can get about 140 pounds. And to me, they kind of remind me of a cross between a cheetah and a tiger. They're just amazingly beautiful animals. Believe it or not, even though the majority of their prey items are going to be hoof stock, these guys will actually take down baby black bears. But just take a look at that cute little face and how feisty it is. I tell you what, these little cats are absolutely adorable. Believe it or not, this is an extremely important animal at the zoo. Its name is Carlisle, and it's been raised around cheetahs. Again, I talked earlier about how dogs can have a calming effect on some cats. So Carlisle happens to be the one animal that's always around these cats, and you can see how it plays amazingly gently with those animals. So this may be a pretty common dog, but here it's a superstar. It's been an amazing adventure down here at the Columbus Zoo. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. I tell you what, this has been one incredible experience. In the early 1900s, it was estimated that there was 100,000 cheetahs in the wild. What is the current estimated wild population? If you said C, 9 to 12,000, you were 100% correct. Good job. If you want to save your reptiles, get serious, get ZooMed. To check out all their product line, visit zoomed.com.
All right, guys, I really like going to the zoo. I think it's a lot of fun. Brian and Josh just got back from the Australia Zoo, which I bet was a total blast. Now, I really want to go to the San Diego Zoo. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I want to know, what's your favorite zoo to go to, or where do you wish you could go? Leave a comment below and let us know.
So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. What an amazing time playing with all those cool animals. I'm still freaking out about those cute little cheetahs. And as always, I was tweeting and Facebooking my way through it. So if you want to follow any of my animal adventures, just hit me up over at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Yes. Good. Now you're gonna go, hey, don't you have sex with me? Oh! Just don't deposit any poop on me.